well-supported, loving, God-fearing family. I lost it all to pursue what I felt was my ultimate me and my survival, to become a woman.
If you could tell other transgenders out there something of encouragement, what would it be?
I would say in my press release, I talk about one thing. Dr. Maya Angelou, I Rise, I met her when I was at Wake Forest, Be Yourself. So the I Rise, and I've heard her poem, I've read her poem, and lived by her poem. I Rise, The Transformation of Toni Newman, is how I got my title. I would say this to transgender. She has a little poem. Courage is the most important of all the virtues because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. You can practice any virtue erratically, but nothing consistently without courage. That's Dr. Maya Angelou. It takes courage to be a man on Tuesday and walk out in the daytime on Wednesday and get on the subway and start saying, I'm becoming a woman. Most transgender don't have the money that some of your white transgender have to go and do it right, and in that year or two can make that whole process beautifully done. We don't have the type of money to do that. It's a piece by year, because we don't have any money. We have no support. You know, most of your white transgender, their families, on the whole, don't turn their back on them. Everyone walked away from me. Everyone. I had nobody, so it was difficult.
On your 25 years going through this whole process before the book, what was your lowest point?
While I was on 14th Street, I was homeless and living in a place, we called it that time a hotel, but was known as a crack hotel. You paid the weekly rate, and since it was hard for me to get an apartment, since my income was up and down and unverifiable, and I looked a certain way, which some people considered not as cool. It was a wig at the time, and I was still, you know, muscular and very manly looking, but I was dressing up. The crack hotel was the only place that I could afford based on my $40 blowjobs. And at that point, I was living with dope addicts, pimps, prostitutes, and the police was at that place just about every day. It was there where other transgender and I were, that most of them turned to crack, cocaine, meth, heroin, and alcohol because it was a bad time for them. That to me would probably be my lowest, coming from a good family, highly educated, to be a homeless street prostitute that on one or two occasions was so hungry that I, went to a restaurant. It was called the Chicken Place, and some people threw tons of chicken away, still in the box, and would take it out the trash can and at that point, eat. Me and two other transgender who were homeless. I did it once, and they did it on many occasions, and said I went to these fancy restaurants, and this stuff is thrown out because it's a day old, and the rich people didn't want it, and we would eat it. To me, that was my very lowest moment for myself. Being transgender, but being so unaccepted and unsupported that nobody even was concerned about my actual well-being, that was very low for me, coming from all that love before. Only person I knew to go to was God.
Through that time, through your life, what's been your highest point?
I would probably say having the book out. I didn't anticipate it to get such a fanfare when it came out April the 14th. The National Enquirer contract and what I said and what they said and the polygraph have taken over the internet through Jackie Jasper's release of the National Enquirer contract. The book is really about to encourage and motivate transgender to educate their mind, not so much sell their bodies. I've sold my body for many years and felt that was all I could do because nobody wanted me, but I then began to learn I could be accepted. I am loved. Not everybody's against you. So step out on faith and go to vocational school. Go and get your community college degree or whatever you enjoy, cosmetology. Use your mind. You're thinking rational people. We're not crazy. We're not mental. We're gender, changing our gender. That's all we're doing. A lot of people think there's some type of craziness when we do this. There are children growing up who feel they're male but should be female. And I want to give the black children a voice to look up and say, I'm 12 years old. I feel funny. That's called gender identity. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay.
Also, if there was something you could say to all transgenders throughout the United States, what would it be?
Come out the darkness and walk in the light. There was a song in church that says, walk in the light. Don't walk alone. Come out and get support. There are people out here that will support you. I know we feel we're not a member of the gay and lesbians. They're out, you know, a lot of professional celebrity gays and lesbians. But when you speak of transgenders, you don't see them in your banks, in your schools, in your Starbucks working. You don't see them in your regular day-to-day. Most of the people, including you that I spoke to, say, I just don't see you people. I might see you at night, you know, walking around, or I might see you in the club. Why? There's almost 1 million, they say, in America, but you don't see them in any regular working capacity, black and Latino transgenders. I'm asking why. You don't know any, do you?
Actually, no, I don't.
Do you know any? Do you know any transgender where you went into a, where you know me, I'm in law school and I wrote a book, but I mean, that's one out of supposedly close to 1 million, probably more, that you know. That's just crazy to me. You only know one of one particular category? I find that hard that America is just unaware of the black transgender fate. And most of us come from middle to low income families. And it's very difficult. That's what I wrote about. The difficulty of, in a black home, of going from male to female and female to male. That is not the nature of my book. I am not concerned with Eddie Murphy, LL Cool J, and Mr. C. I was polygraphed and told the truth to the best of my ability, not once, but twice. I've been asked 8 other times, will I fly here and take one and do this? My story is not about LL Cool J. It's not about Eddie Murphy. That's their faith with their families and God. And I leave it at that. I have nothing to say to him. I like his music. I've never watched his show much, but I watch it occasionally. I'm happy for him as an African-American to an African-American. And he's not only a black celebrity, they're white celebrities and high-powered white celebrities who do this as well. I didn't recognize them until years later, and I didn't know they were a white celebrity who might have been an athlete on a hockey team until later. I knew him. I recognized him because he comes from what I know. I listen to his type of music. There are others that I didn't recognize, and to today, I now recognize I saw a couple of white athletes who were circling the block. But they wasn't visible to me because I didn't watch hockey. I didn't watch their sport, so I didn't know. My whole thing is just not him. It's done by a lot of these guys on the down low. And if you were to ask them, did they would call you a liar and deny it to death. And I'm asking, what's wrong with just saying, if you are, I'm bisexual? It's not a crime. It's not against the law. Why are we all so, If I can change myself from male to female and wear a wig in the daytime and admit my story, you can't admit who and what you are. You know, own your own truth, I own mine. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and MySpace under Toni D. Newman. And they can email me at any time on the Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter under Toni D. Newman. But my main message that I want to get out is courage to the transgenders, to give them courage to be who they are and not hide in the dark. Don't just sell your body, use your mind. And to let people know that these men are not gay men that are messing with us. Some are high-powered, some are low-powered. Some are black, some are white. Some are Asian, some are Jew. They are doing it. They're supporting them to stay in the darkness because they're selling their bodies for money, and these guys are getting sexual gratitude in the form that they like it. And I just want to uplift that to say, hey, you don't have to just sell your body to make money. And he don't have to keep you on the down low. If he wants to be on the down low, that's his business. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You have an option, which at that time I did not know I had an option. I tried to get a job. People said, why didn't you go to work? I took my degree and walked to Chase Bank for menial task positions. Not teller, maintenance, clean up, and couldn't get a job. Take the wig off, clean yourself up, we'll give you a job. That's not me. I got to be me to do this. It never worked out for me. So